So, sir, you said about the journey and you made a proper chart for a chronological order. I would like to know about your fruit merchant business, Bango Mango, जो एकदम ही फेमस हो गया था.
Yeah.
तो उसकी जर्नी क्या है, उसमें क्या चैलेंजेस है, पूरा स्टोरी बताओ सर वो वाला.
Okay, right. Now, I was associated with Symbiosis, and I used to teach marketing in Symbiosis Institute and Symbiosis Institute of Journalism, and I used to conduct a course on marketing. So those days, 88, I put up this idea. I started talking about direct marketing in 1988, and I said that this is one concept which we should all think about it. Uska time aayega. Students didn't believe it. No, these are Western cultures. Direct marketing, Western culture, internet तो भी था भी नहीं. ये सब Western culture है, कुछ चलने वाला है नहीं. But I was insisting, then I started giving examples of Western, what happens there in America, in Europe, and how they're working. He said, these concepts are Western concepts. Sir, it won't work in India. One of the students, I remember, he stands up and says, sir, if you're so confident, why didn't you prove it? जब खुद के पैसे लगेंगे ना तो आपको पता चलेगा. कंसल्टेशन देना तो बहुत ईजी है ना. आप हमको पढ़ा के चले जाएंगे और हम वो कुछ करने बैठेंगे तो we'll go in a loss of prove it to us. That guy had a point. To that extent, I was only a teacher. I was a consultant. मैं बोल के तो मैं तो चला जाऊंगा. डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग करो, फ्यूचर है, करके दिखा. And walk the talk. So okay. So when that got me thinking, like, what can I sell which is very hard to sell? And that to direct marketing. काफी आगे पीछे सोचा. I said, let's go for fruit. Because people won't buy fruit online or direct marketing. जब तक वो देखेंगे नहीं, भावताव नहीं करेंगे, वो सब तब तक वो लेंगे नहीं. ठीक है तो fruit, but again fruit is a very big word. So I zeroed down to mangoes. Which mangoes? There are 3,000 varieties of mangoes. I spent 3 months in agricultural college learning about fruit, learning about horticulture, learning about mangoes. बहुत उसके ऊपर रिसर्च किया, अभ्यास किया. One thing of the market, if you want to do something, you have to go deep into it. सुपरफिशियली करके चलो कर दिया तो नहीं होता. उसके पीछे काफी साल, 1.5 साल उससे लगाया. Then finally, all I decided, okay, I'll sell Alfonso mangoes. Reason? The fruit still has an awe. It's in limited supply because comes only in April and May, and a good and a limited supply. And then my further research taught me that fruit from Ratnagiri and Devgarh gives the best of aroma and flavor. Within Ratnagiri and Devgarh, the fruit which is harvested within 7 to 10 kilometers from the seashore and the hard soil there will give the best skin, will give the best aroma. I identified those farms, identified those farmers, and then I discussed with them and gave them plan ki I would like to procure fruit from you. With that, we pack the fruit and we send it to Pune, or we send it to Mumbai, or we send it to Ahmedabad. And the market decides the price. The artyas, what we call, they decide the price based upon the demand and supply. And then I told him, okay, fair enough. I think probably I was one of the most useless purchase managers, I would say. Because my condition to them, okay, fair enough. Whatever the market price, 10% more.
10% more.
But this is the kind of fruit I want. And I designed a 4S test.
4S test.
Test. Yeah, वो मतलब that's my line. So what are these 4 S's to uh, to identify a good mango according to me, because there is no machine. I mean, there is no sonography machine which tells कि अंदर क्या हो रहा है, because गुटली में लगता है वो प्रॉब्लम आज भी है, and वो अल्फांसो का इनहेरेंट क्वालिटी है, वो तो होएगा. फिर भी how can you minimize that? So okay, shape,
Okay.
size,
Size.
skin
Skin.
and stem. इसका मैंने एक फॉर्मूला बना दिया कि मिनिमम 1 सेंटीमीटर की मुझे स्टेम चाहिए, स्किन पे ब्लेमिश नहीं चाहिए, सुपरफिशियल ब्लेमिश चलेगा लेकिन वो डेप्थ वहां पर जाता है वो नहीं चाहिए. शेप मुझे थोड़ा इलांगेटेड चाहिए, राउंडिश नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज राउंड अंदर स्टोन लीविल का प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है. एंड साइज शुड बी बिटवीन 275 to 300 grams. 300 grams के ऊपर दिखने को बहुत सुंदर दिखेगा, बट द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ स्टोन विल देयर. एंड 275 grams के नीचे इज वेरी गुड फ्रूट, बट माय थॉट वाज I am not a fruit merchant. So how do I sell my mangoes? Because I wanted to direct marketing. मुझे APMC या मुझे गुल टेकरी में दुकान तो खोलनी नहीं थी आम की. So direct marketing के हिसाब से again that was the concept, which was again I think very new. Why it was, I was pioneer of that, of branding fruit. So I changed the spelling of mangoes to bangos. कि बैंक तो मेरा सरनेम था, तो बोला ये अच्छा ब्रांड बन सकता है. And I depositioned mangoes from fruit to corporate gifting. So I was not selling fruit, I was selling corporate gifts. I positioned them that way. And for that to happen, I broke many rules. Those days mangoes used to come in 4 dozen crate, peti. What we call is peti. I divided that into 12. Then I created a 1 dozen box. First time again, nobody sold mangoes in 1 dozen those days. And because my fruit were so meticulously chosen, I treated them as babies. Each box had 12 compartments, and each mango those days was in a foam net. आज तो सब कॉमन दिख रहा है. I am going back 89 and packed them, and then I signed every mangoes those days. Because it goes as a brand under my brand, so I stand responsible. All this all added to the cost. When the current market those days was 150 rupees a dozen, my box was 600 rupees a dozen. So why will anybody pay 4 times the market price? So it was very simple. Individuals were not going to buy my fruit in any case. It was for corporate gifting. So my target market was defined. So I looked at pharma companies who wanted to give to doctors. I looked at government contractors who wanted to give to the North Block and the South Blocks. I looked at corporate people who wanted to give to their customers, their consumers, and it worked very well. So the concept of selling fruit as a corporate gift, as a brand, so much so that I remember it was taken as a case in I Am Ahmedabad and I Am Calcutta, because in 1990 branding fruit and selling it. So I remember couple of students had walked into my office doors and I took up all this case and said, we are going to make a presentation on this. Fair enough, I don't know afterward what happened, but yes, it was taken up there. Until today is what, 35 years now. It's happening. So yeah, it's one of the most pioneer thing, and I'm way ahead of my time. Way ahead. Abhi to ठहर, fair enough, you have got so many people selling their sab kar hai. And afterward, was that become a hit? I mean, so many people came in into that line, and so many people went out also because it was a big issue of delivering fruit globally. I mean, I remember my customers list were who's who. I mean, the entire Indian cricket team was my customer. The all corporate honchos were my customers. I mean, some of the so if I go back and remember, I said it gives me goosebumps. Oh my God! I remember, like putting stickers of Sachin Tendulkar on my mangoes. Okay, Sachin Tendulkar was not buying from me, but somebody was gifting to Sachin Tendulkar. So there were label laga do Harbhajan Singh and Sachin Tendulkar and Calcutta Ganguly. Array, the kind of things, Vijay Mallya.
Big names.
Big name, but because that kick and I used to do all those things. Like look at mangoes, pack them, smell them. My wife helped me with it and put up all those labels and stick, and it worked very well. Mercedes-Benz Germany. I mean, for so many before 9/11 happened, it was a big market for me. Europe, America, and then after 9/11, a lot of restrictions started coming in the cooling periods, and then the custom would ask the receiver to come to the airport to check kya bhej raha hai and all those kind of things. So I stopped overseas thing. But India, it is still happening. Corporate, oh yes, 35 years now. So it started as a case study. It actually became a business in April and May. It was expensive fruit, but all was not profit because a lot of monies were spent in building. My cost of the box was as much as the cost of the mangoes itself. But I wanted to create the study box because it was a gift. So I couldn't compromise on the looks of the whole thing because at the end of the day somebody is gifting it. So the cost of this paraphernalia of all those things was actually more than the cost of the fruit, and then door delivery, then the courier charges. And but it was all fun. Hindsight, oh yes, love doing it, and I still love doing it.
Sir, you have only said in one of your YouTube shorts जहाँ पे मैंने देखा था कि स्टार्टिंग फर्स्ट पर्सन याद रहता है, सेकंड चीज याद रहती है, तीन चीजें याद रहती है, उसके बाद फोर्थ फिफ्थ 500 कौन करता है हमको पता ही नहीं होता. एंड आपने बैंगो चालू किया था, यू वर द पायनियर, एंड इसलिए अभी तक लोग आपको याद करते हैं वो स्टोरी की वजह से.
Manav, I remember my mom telling me, my wife telling me, oh, the Bang Ambewale tumhi kaho. Bang Ambe, I have nothing to do with mangoes. My friend is just 15 for 1 month in a year. I do that. That's not my bread and butter. But that Bang Ambewale, that Bang gave me more recognition. The mangoes gave me more recognition than anything else. Still did. When I say Prakash Bang, the Bang is a little funny surname. Yeah. So it's not a very common surname, I would say. Not funny, but not very common. So Bang, oh, the Ambewale. How about Ambewale? So I take that as a compliment. Nothing wrong. Yeah.
It's just like कोई धंधा छोटा नहीं होता.
Of course, yeah. Shah Rukh Khan told us in which movie was that? Yeah. Raees. Yeah. मेरी माँ कहती थी कोई धंधा छोटा नहीं होता.
And you made it big scale पे लेके गए.
Oh, it went because then it went massive into bulk. I remember a rice company in UK. They bought us in thousands to be given to their dealers. The royal family of Nepal were my customers. Then most of the royal families in the Middle East were my customers. I remember one a Hollywood celebrity. He used to come for holiday in Lake Como, June. And June was the time when Kesar mangoes were coming. So I remember, I forget the first name, but he was a Hollywood celebrity, and his secretary used to call us, giving me a schedule of when his boss is going to be in Italy. Because America, you couldn't send fresh fruit. Those days, mangoes, today we can, after indication, all this process, you can do that. But you couldn't gift mangoes. You couldn't send to America. So that person used to order mangoes when he landed in Delhi, because Europe it was allowed. Through DHL, my fruit were delivered in Lake Como to that person. Remember, it happened for many years because he had a bungalow there. And when he used to come for his holiday, my Kesar mangoes, not Alpha, because by that time Alfonso would get over. So my Kesar used to go. And that again is an experience, isn't it? I remember there was a magazine called Shatka. And Sunandan Lele, even though that a big cricketer and he writes for that, he used to take this, buy these mangoes and send to all this the Indian team, the cricket team and all those associate. I remember once Sunandan telling me, "अरे मला भजी, उसका फोन यार मेरे एक से क्या होएगा?" This give me the kicks, you know. I mean, keep money aside for a moment, but I mean, where do you get this kind of recognition? I mean, yeah, that was good.
सर बहुत अच्छा ब्रांड बिल्डिंग किया आपने वो टाइम पे जब ब्रांड बिल्डिंग कोई करता नहीं था. यू आर वे अहेड ऑफ योर टाइम.